Here's your news for January 8th, 2020. We are starting off today with news from the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match, as 30 participants will battle for a shot at either the WWE or Universal Championship at WrestleMania. With WWE Champion Brock Lesnar announcing that he will compete in the match from number 1, though won't be defending the title, this year's bout is shaping up to be an interesting match, and WWE recently revealed news of some other stars who will be joining the Beast. On Twitter, the company confirmed that Lesnar will be joined by Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, Ricochet, and Erick Rowan, leaving 23 spots in the match still open. Though not all of these stars have a realistic chance of winning, their participation in the match is still very interesting, especially as fans wait to see what sort of surprises will take place. On the women's side of things, only Charlotte Flair has announced her participation for the Women's Royal Rumble match, but expect more superstars to join the Queen in the coming weeks. We've mentioned that Lesnar will be making history at the Royal Rumble, but the Beast has a busy schedule before then back home in Minnesota. This Friday, Lesnar is set to join the University of Minnesota Gophers as an honorary coach, after competing at the university years ago, where his success would ultimately lead to him being signed by WWE. The timing of this is also not a coincidence, as this Friday will mark 20 years since Lesnar captured the NCAA heavyweight title, and between this upcoming award and being the part-time WWE champion, it's clearly a good time to be the Beast. Back to Raw now, and with Drew McIntyre spending the past few weeks squashing jobbers like Zack Ryder, Curt Hawkins, and No Way Jose, it seems like WWE has something big planned for the Scottish psychopath. For the past few weeks, the former NXT champion has been considered a dark horse to win the Men's Royal Rumble match, which could put him in the ring against Lesnar for the WWE title at WrestleMania 36. With that said, fans said the same things about McIntyre for the 2019 Royal Rumble match, and with McIntyre not suffering his first pinfall loss on the main roster until December 2018, it's not hard to see why fans have rallied behind the Scotsman. With that said though, McIntyre's track record on pay-per-view is a real cause for concern, as since he was called back to the main roster in 2018, the Scottish superstar has won just 2 of his 12 matches. Aside from a tag team victory at Hell in a Cell 2018 and being on the victorious Team Raw at Survivor Series that same year, McIntyre has constantly been on the losing end of things, which has seen him fall to foes like Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and The Undertaker. In all one-on-one encounters on pay-per-view, McIntyre has always lost, and though this doesn't mean he doesn't stand a chance in the 30-man match, it does leave many questioning why WWE would choose someone who hasn't won on pay-per-view in over a year, especially against the favorite Roman Reigns. On Raw this week, fans finally saw the wedding of Lana and Bobby Lashley, and though this ceremony was much smaller than the one the pair had planned on the final Raw of 2019, this one also had its share of problems. For the segment, New York-based actor Rick Malone played the pastor that wedded the pair, but when Malone entered the ring, security mistook him for a fan jumping the barricade and tackled him to the ground. Malone would at least see the funny side of things, as he would later take to Facebook to comment on what happened, saying, "This is what happened tonight at WWE Raw. I needed to get into the ring in order to consummate the Bobby Lashley and Lana wedding, which was totally disrupted last Monday night in Hartford, Connecticut, but security prevented me. So I had no other choice but to dive into the ring head first. Security was not pleased, but the married couple was very happy." According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, this altercation was planned ahead of time, though we're not quite sure why WWE would want to do this in the first place. If the plan was for the company to create buzz from this planned mishap, then it certainly worked, as news of the phony pastor being grabbed by security gained traction on many sites, including TMZ. We're taking a break to focus on the NWA next, as Nick Aldis has announced Scott Steiner as the third man on his team. On the latest edition of Power, the NWA World Champion revealed that Steiner will be teaming up with the Wildcards to take on Team Morton next week, and if Team Morton wins, Ricky will receive an NWA World title match against Aldis down the line. Even at 63 years old, Morton has kept himself in great fighting shape despite his age, so it'll be interesting to see what happens if he does end up challenging the 33-year-old world champion at some point in the future. From one legend of wrestling to another now, as Kevin Nash has made it clear that he is retired for good, as his knees have taken a lot of damage over his years of wrestling. Recently though, Big Daddy Cool revealed 2 photos of himself, set 2 years apart after extensive rehab Nash has gone through to fix his knees. In the social media post, Nash said his knees were, quote, deformed and basically crippled in the first pic, and it definitely looks like the former WWF champion is doing much better now. Fans will get to see Nash receive his second WWE Hall of Fame ring this year for his time in the NWO, and though Big Sexy isn't competing anymore, he's still keeping busy with a series of exciting acting opportunities, which Nash is now able to do without as much pain in his legs. Back to WWE now, and despite being a former Tag Team United States Cruiserweight and ECW World Champion, Matt Hardy may not have long left on his WWE contract. According to reports, Hardy's contract will expire on March 1st this year, and it seems WWE hasn't exactly made things easy for him as the clock runs out. Recently, Matt was moved from Raw to SmackDown on the company's official website, but there's been no explanation to why this has happened, and it was done very quietly. Fans can only speculate that the company has plans for Hardy on the Blue brand, but according to rumors, the former tag team champion hasn't re-signed a contract with WWE. When asked about this covert move on Twitter, Hardy said that he's always been on the Blue brand despite not being in the most recent WWE draft, and also despite his appearances on Raw late last year. The response drew the attention of former WWE superstar Lance Storm, who suggested that the WWE's roster page is broken, while Matt said it will end up breaking him instead. Although there is still time for Matt to sign another contract with WWE, these latest issues don't exactly give hopes to fans that he will be with the company after March 1st. While Matt may not be in WWE for much longer, the same can't be said for his brother Jeff, as the charismatic Enigma's contract has been frozen while he works through his legal issues, meaning that the two could end up in different companies very soon. On to some good news now, and as fans from 2011 may remember CM Punk wanting the return of WWE ice cream bars, it seems the former world champion's request has been granted 9 years later. Recently, the ice cream company Good Humor listed that they will soon be selling official WWE ice cream sandwiches, and though they won't quite be the same as the bars fans enjoyed during the 80s and 90s due to there being no stick, this will still be a great alternative. These new ice cream sandwiches will feature some of the top stars of today, such as Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Becky Lynch, as well as Macho Man Randy Savage, who also appeared on the ice cream bars decades ago. A quick Google search doesn't bring up any store locations where these sandwiches will be sold, but expect to see these delicious treats for wrestling fans to hit shelves soon, now that they're listed on the Good Humor website. Back in the ring now, and PW Insider has reported that Ruby Riott was recently spotted at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. Though this is obviously good news for the former Riott Squad member, fans shouldn't expect to see the 28-year-old back in the ring anytime soon, as the belief is that she was at the PC in order for WWE doctors to monitor her progress before she's cleared to return. That didn't stop Riott from giving her all at the Performance Center though, and even worked out with NXT star Rachel Evers, something that the second-generation superstar went on to describe as the highlight of her day. Riott has been out of action for almost a year now as she underwent successful surgery of a bilateral injury to her right shoulder in May 2019, and had the same surgery on her shoulder in August that same year. While the exact cause of these shoulder issues is unclear, we do know that Riott last competed on WWE TV on the April 22nd edition of Main Event, but kept competing for a few more weeks afterward at live events. With Liv Morgan now being put into the Lana Lashley Rusev angle, and Sarah Logan doing her own thing as a single star, it'll be very interesting to see what the company has planned for Riott when she eventually makes her return to the ring. And finally today we're ending with some more injury news as SmackDown superstar Ember Moon won't be competing for quite some time. Recently on WWE Backstage, the former NXT Women's Champion revealed the extent of her injury, but didn't reveal how exactly her injury happened, which she later revealed as part of the radio show for her Hall of Famer trainer Booker T. On the show, Moon spoke about how she tore her Achilles while chasing the 24/7 championship backstage, saying that she was running as part of a pack of female superstars during Carmella's tenure with the Gold. Interestingly, Moon said she had a bad feeling about something moments before the injury happened, and once she started running, she felt a pop in her ankle and her Achilles was torn. As one of the most talented women on the roster, it's a real shame that Moon hasn't been able to have her big moment since being called up to WWE's main roster, and hopefully things will go better for her when she is able to return. For now, the former NXT Women's Champion can only focus on healing her Achilles, as her injury just goes to show that accidents can happen in wrestling at any time, both in and out of the ring.